Okay, so remember when I said that Deco does want to reinforce the center back position and also the striker position for the next season? All of that is very much true, and now we're starting to hear a lot of reports confirming that there is a total of 4 players that Deco is eyeing on right now to reinforce the striker position and the center back position. And I'm going to be dividing this into 2 different sections. We're going to have the expensive route, and then we're going to be having the cost-efficient route. Of course, it's really going to be depending on where Barcelona is going to be 9 months from today financially, and what Javier Tebas can let us do, because we are one of the highest generating revenue clubs in the world. But if Javier Tebas does state that Barcelona cannot spend a lot of money, and they say that your max spending for the summer is going to be like 45 million euros or 50 million euros, then we're probably going to have to take the cheap route and not go for the big signings that could also really help Joan Laporta and his elections. But that is going to be for like a whole other different conversation. Once again, I'm going to be explaining what the cost efficient route is and what the expensive route is, starting with the cost efficient route. And it is confirmed that Barcelona are seriously interested in Marc Guehi. The club are involved in the run for him, with others like Real Madrid, Bayern, and Liverpool also very interested. There is competition for Marc Guehi, and all clubs are assessing their own situation, especially with Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are interested in free transfers for 2026, just like FC Barcelona, but that also ultimately does depend on what happens with Upamecano and also with Kim. And then now let's talk about the striker position, because it is Etta Eyong, a player that we have just talked about a few hours ago. It states here, according to Sport, that Barcelona does remain interested in Etta Eyong. Etta Eyong has made Barcelona his top priority in case he does decide to move to another club, whether that's going to be in January 2026 or in the summer of 2026, but he is open to a move to FC Barcelona. So this, my friends, is going to be the cost efficient route. It is going to be to grab Marc Guehi and Etta Eyong. One is going to be for free, which is Marc, and the other one is going to cost around a total of 25 to 30 million euros. Remember, Barcelona could have signed Etta Eyong for 2 to 3 million euros in the summer of 2025, but they neglected that signing and they went on for Rooney Barty and they signed him for 2.5 million euros. But this combination here of players is going to be costing a grand total of 30 million euros, which is honestly not that bad, because I look at these 2 players and I say there's so much more room for them to grow. They're really good already, but they can grow so much more. Marc Guehi did maintain his position at Crystal Palace and became a defensive leader and also the captain through the 2025-2026 season. Yes, his intention was to always move to Liverpool for a grand fee of 35 million euros on deadline day, but it did not end up happening. So far in this season with Crystal Palace, he has appeared in 7 total Premier League matches and has delivered consistent solid performances. He has already had 1 goal so far this season and scored against Aston Villa, already made another assist against Liverpool, and has had 3 clean sheets in 7 league matches. With him in the defensive line, Crystal Palace have conceded just 1 goal every 158 minutes. He currently does average 2.17 tackles per 90 minutes and 1.17 interceptions per 90. He is definitely instrumental and has the leadership qualities that is praised by his teammates. One of them, who is Justin Deveni, claimed that he does add so much value to the team and demonstrates leadership both on and off the field. So for sure, this is a center back that can really enhance our defensive line. However, I just don't know where his head is at, because there has been like a few reports claiming that he is a little disappointed right now because he could not move to Liverpool. And even though he has maintained great professionalism throughout the season so far, he is still very unhappy. Like for example, many observers noted that Guehi did not celebrate when one of his teammates scored the winning goal against Liverpool. So I don't know, like, could Barcelona be chasing a player that does not even want to come to Barcelona and is only interested in Liverpool and does prioritize Liverpool? We'll see. But Deco does have him on the list. I think that it is safe to say that Barcelona do struggle a lot when it comes to implementing the high defensive line, looking to see who is onside, who is offside, who do we mark. There's not really that leadership that we have been missing since Inigo Martinez left. There is a hole in that defensive line. Inigo Martinez was a very important player to that defensive line, and Barcelona are paying the price, which is why we have suffered so much in the past 4 to 5 matches. Could Marc be the answer? A center back pairing of Pau Cubarsí and Marc could really go a long way. He is a center back, by the way, that is proficient in ball control, so he will fit perfectly next to Cubarsí. As for Etta Eyong, like I said, we have just talked about this player. If you guys want to really analyze who this player is and his come up, go look at my previous video. I do talk about him over there in depth. But to make it very quick here, Etta Eyong is sensational. He's only 21 years old. He has already established himself as one of La Liga's most prolific goal scorers in this season. And with the 3 matches that he has played with Villarreal, he has scored 1 goal and provided 2 assists. With Levante, where he just moved at, he has already played 5 matches and scored 4 goals and provided 1 assist. That's really good. He is Levante's leading goal scorer and key attacking threat, and he's the 3rd most decisive player in Europe's top league. And one of the reasons why he is so successful is because of his physical attributes. He is 5'11", almost 6 feet, so he's He's pretty tall for a striker, and the fact that he can still carry himself with exceptional speed, great dribbling, great finishing, being very aerial dominant, we need a striker like him. Can you imagine those crosses coming from Rafinha or Marcus Rashford that gets fed to somebody like Etta Eyong? It would be amazing. It could be a cross into the air. Etta Eyong can meet those aerial duels and score more goals. And I would assume that he would have no problem being that first point of pressing the opposition's defensive line. He's very young, very energetic. I do see him running a lot, and I think that that's also very important. Yes, we can talk about how great a goal scorer can be and how they can benefit FC Barcelona goal-wise, but for sure you're going to need the work ethic when off the ball. And Etta Eyong brings that. Always trying to intercept, always trying to force mistakes, always looking to receive the ball, cover the ball with his body, and look for either one of his teammates to make a run down the line or create a 1-2 with one of the central midfielders. He can do that easily with Pedri or Yamal or Rafinha or Marcus Rashford. And so I'm also happy to say that, Etta Eyong has faced minimal struggles in adapting to the new environment at Levante. Like, this guy has spent a lot of time in Spanish football so far. So for him to just come to FC Barcelona would be a smooth transition. He also speaks Spanish. He can communicate with the players, and that's very important. I don't know how Marcus Rashford is doing it right now, but for sure, knowing Spanish, understanding Spanish, communicating with your teammates, it's going to be massive help. So we'll see. Barcelona really going to have to convince the player, because if he does find some sort of love for Villarreal again, and he says, I want to go to Villarreal and I want to really compete and win all titles with Villarreal, because it could happen, right? Like Nico Williams also said that I don't want to join FC Barcelona, I want to stay at Athletic Club. So if he says, I want to go to Villarreal can make it happen because they retained a buyback option with the move to Levante. So Deco, Hansi Flick, and Julian are really going to have to be convincing within these deals. Now, let's talk about the expensive route. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to spend too much time on this expensive route because I just don't think that this is going to be something feasible, because I'm really going to just put my expectations low. I don't expect Javier Tebas to just say, you're allowed to spend 100 to 150 million euros this summer, no problem. But just for the sake of it, and because I think that there is a slight chance with Joan Laporta also having the elections in 2026, maybe this could happen. Maybe these talks could take place. So we're going to be talking about two players here, once again, one in the center back position and one in the striker position. One of them is Julian Alvarez and the other one is Schlotterbeck. The reason why Barcelona wants Nico Schlotterbeck and why he is being considered is because he does have a lot of familiarity with Hansi Flick. Also plays in Borussia Dortmund. They have met before, and ever since we saw Inigo Martinez leave Barcelona have been lacking a natural left-footed center back, causing a huge imbalance. And with Schlotterbeck, he brings composure, more aerial dominance. He's extremely tall, and he's a ball-playing center back as well. Remember, Flick gave Schlotterbeck his Germany debut back in March 2022 and coached him for 11 matches. So this whole thing between Flick and Schlotterbeck, it is 100% real. There is tactical trust and emotional trust. And at 25 years old, with his contract expiring in 2027, I can see why the renewal talks between Schlotterbeck and Dortmund have paused, because I think that he is assessing other alternatives. He's still young to make a big move and really make it out there in the world of football. His market value is 35 to 40 million euros, and it could drop if there is no renewal. So if Barcelona were to say, I want to get Schlotterbeck, we want to get Schlotterbeck in the summer of 2026, it could go down to 30 to 28 million euros. And then we look at Julian Alvarez, who we talked about many times before, the Lewandowski and the most, I would just say, the most prime, ideal Lewandowski successor. It is Julian Alvarez. You want to talk about luxury, it is Julian. Remember, Lewandowski's deal expires in June 2026, and at 37 years old, he's going to be really up there in his 30s, and a renewal is very much unlikely, meaning that Barcelona are going to be really looking for a brand new striker, whether that's Etta Eyong like we talked about, or they just break to the bank and go for Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez has been in phenomenal form this season, playing in 12 matches so far with Atletico Madrid, scoring 7 goals and providing 4 assists, also scoring a brace against Real Madrid. So he has a goal involvement rate of 1.15 per 90 minutes and a shot conversion rate of 35.29%. And so we know his game. We have seen him multiple times. He offers pressing intensity, something that we have also demanded from Etta Eyong, has great movement in terms of his versatility, has playmaking ability, averages 2.14 key passes per 90 minutes and 0.23 expected assists per 90 minutes. So he does have a lot of creative depth in his game. So he's the perfect match for Flick's pressing system and Barcelona's possession game. Like, this is the guy. And the fact that he has also always carried deep admiration for Messi and for FC Barcelona, and with the agent Fernando Hidalgo confirming the emotional link and willingness to lower wages just for Julian Alvarez to join, a lot of this does make a lot of sense. However, like we talked about before, the main struggle is always going to be his price tag. We do not even know what Atletico Madrid are going to be demanding. If Alvarez says that he wants to move to FC Barcelona, it could be 100 million euros to maybe 120 million euros. And this is why I do say that this is the expensive route. We can either go for Etta Eyong and Marc Guehi for a grand total of 30 million euros, or we go here to Julian Alvarez or Schlotterbeck and say, say we're going to get Schlotterbeck for 30 million euros and Alvarez for 100 million euros. That's going to cost 130 million euros in one summer. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, when you compare this amount of money that Barcelona could spend for these two players, it is nothing when you compare it to the world of football. Chelsea do this in every summer. Arsenal do this in every summer. Real Madrid do this in every summer. There's a lot of clubs that do this, but for some reason, Barcelona cannot even spend past 5 million euros in one summer. So let me know in the comment sections down below, which duo would you go for? Or maybe you just say, you know what, I just want to combine both. I want to have Schlotterbeck and I want to have Etta Eyong, or I want to have Julian Alvarez and I want to have Marc Guehi. These are going to be the 4 players that is going to be in the top of the list for Deco in 2026. So let me know once again in the comments, who would you sign to reinforce the striker position and the center back position? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.